Hello friends and my dear students. Today we will discuss on the topic WHO International Drug Monitoring Program. The contents of this presentation will be introduction, origin of WHO Program of International Drug Monitoring, graph of the member countries joining WIPIDM, regional centers of WHO PIDM, role of WHO PIDM, developments in the WHO PIDM. Before this, we must know what is ICSR. So, Individual Case Study Report, which is also called ICSR, is an adverse event report for an individual patient and is a source of data in pharmacovigilance. So, WHO Program for International Drug Monitoring is a group of more than 150 countries that share the vision of safer and more effective use of medicines. They work nationally as well as collaborate internationally to monitor and identify the harm caused by medicines, to reduce the risk to the patients, to establish the worldwide pharmacovigilance standards and systems, to ensure that evidence about harm to patients was collected from as many sources as possible. This would enable individual countries to be alerted to the patterns of harm that were emerging across the world and which might not be evident from the local data alone. UMC, that is Uppsala Monitoring Committee. UMC has been responsible for the technical and operational aspects of the program since 1978. Now, WPIDM is established in 1968, and this WHO program for international drug monitoring provides a forum for the WHO member states to collaborate in the monitoring of drug safety and notably the identification and analysis of new adverse reaction signals from the data submitted to the WHO Global Individual Case Safety Report database by member countries. WHO headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland, and is responsible for the policy issues. Now the diagram is showing how basically the program is consisting of three-part network. The first one is the WHO headquarters, second one is the WHO Collaborating Center Uppsala Monitoring Committee, and we have the national centers. So national pharmacovigilance centers from the WHO member states, they are responsible for case reports which are sent to the WHO ICSR database, and this database is managed by WHO Collaborating Center Uppsala in Sweden. And WHO headquarters is working in coordination with the Uppsala Monitoring Center. Now let's study what is the origin of WHO International Monitoring Program. Now in 1961, thalidomide disaster raised an international concern on the unsafe medications. As I have told in the earlier video, thalidomide was a drug which was given to pregnant women, and basically it resulted in the babies, and the babies suffered from congenital abnormalities. So this in 1968, during the 16th World Assembly, 16.38 resolution called for a systematic collection of information on the serious adverse reactions during the development and particularly after medicines have been made available for public use. The purpose is that the purpose of WHO International Drug Monitoring Program is to develop an internationally accepted system for detecting previously unknown or poorly understood adverse effects of medicines. Now earlier this project was a pilot research project which is now grown into full-fledged WHO program currently coordinated by UMC. So finally, WHO established this program for international drug monitoring in response to the thalidomide disaster which happened in 1961. This led to the formation of WHO program of international drug monitoring. The other rationale behind its development was the need for collaboration safety monitoring of drugs on an international scale. That was to identify rare adverse reactions which were not previously seen during clinical trials. The reason being, there's less length of study of clinical trials. The participant selection is conducted in clinical trials. The patient do not have any comorbid conditions when the clinical trials are being conducted. And patients do not have concomitant medications. So this was one of the rationale behind the development of WHO PIDM. Now WHO PIDM was based on the Declaration of World Health Assembly to start a project on the feasibility of an international system of monitoring areas to drugs. First, it was established at the WHO headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. Later in 1978, it moved to WHO Collaborating Center situated in Uppsala, Sweden as a part of an agreement between WHO and Government of Sweden. Now the responsibility of policy matters was retained by WHO headquarters Geneva, whereas the operations was looked after by WHO Collaborating Center Uppsala. So the operation responsibility was taken by UMC Sweden. This WHO Collaborating Center is now known as Uppsala Monitoring Center. Together with the WHO Collaborating Center for International Drug Monitoring, this Uppsala WHO promotes pharmacovigilance at a country level. Now this EMP, what is this EMP? Essential Medicines and Health Products Division of Health Systems and Innovation Cluster is responsible for all the pharmacovigilance activities. Now India joined this program, WHO program, in 1998. Now for an effective international system to become operative, we need some things. Number one, a common reporting form was developed. Agreed guidelines for entering information was formulated. Common terminologies and classifications were prepared, and compatible systems for transmitting, storing and retrieving and disseminating data were created. As you can see from this slide, number of countries reporting to WHO database of ICR Vigibase. You can see in 1968 there were only 10 countries who were the members of WHO PIDM, whereas in 2014 it reached to 120 million. Now basically 120 countries have participated in 2014, and now we have more than 150 countries which are participating in WHO program of international drug monitoring. Now basically, what is UMC looking after? UMC is overseeing the WHO program operations, which include, number one, collecting, assessing and communicating information from the member countries about the benefits of the drugs, about the harm, about the effectiveness and the risks of drugs. Secondly, the UMC is looking after collaborations with member countries in the development and practice of pharmacovigilance. Then UMC is also alerting NRAs. NRA stands for National Regulatory Authorities. So it is alerting NRAs of member countries about the potential drug safety problems via the WHO signal process. Now as you can see from the slide, basically this is the three network of the WHO PIDM program, where actually the reporting goes from here to here and from here to here. That is the pharmacovigilance centers. They do the reporting to the WHO headquarters, and WHO headquarters is coordinating with the Uppsala Monitoring Center. Or we can also say that national pharmacovigilance centers are directly reporting to the UMC Sweden, which is coordinating with the WHO headquarters. Now actually what is the basic concept of this particular slide? Now we can see WHO headquarters is actually responsible for policy issues. So all policy issues are looked after by this WHO headquarters Geneva, right? Whereas the operational responsibility for the program rests with the WHO Collaborating Center for International Drug Monitoring, UMC in Sweden. So basically all the operational part is looked after by UMC. So this is how the reporting, and this is the analysis. The analysis part is looked after by UMC, and this is coordinated with the WHO headquarters Geneva, and through this coordination, the national pharmacovigilance centers are informed about the analysis of any particular area reaction about the drug. So what are the aims of pharmacovigilance? Our aim of pharmacovigilance is to enhance patient care and patient safety in relation to the use of medicines, and to support public health programs by providing reliable, balanced information to assess the risk-benefit profile of the medicines. Now in April 2015, WHO launched another portal, that is VigiAccess. VGXS is a new web application that will allow anyone, even we can access VGXS. So anyone can access the information and this can encourage the reporting of adverse effects from medicinal products. From Google, if you simply type VGXS and you can see basically what type of different areas are areas of different pharmaceutical drugs. Now, what are the collaborating centers of WHO PIDM program? Now, first one is WHO UMC, which I have already told you that it's responsible for managing the technical and scientific aspects of WHO Worldwide Pharmacovigilance Network, and these activities are carried out following WHO policy and in close liaison with the headquarters in Geneva. The second center is the Center in Rabat, Morocco. That is a center for strengthening pharmacovigilance practices. The third center is the WHO Collaborative Center for Pharmacovigilance in Education and Patient Reporting. Now basically this is handled by Netherlands, National Pharmacovigilance Center. The fourth center is WHO Collaborating Center for Drug Statistics Methodology, and that is in the Norway. So we can see the WHO collaborating centers are basically collaborating with the WHO headquarters. Now the fifth center, which is in India, that's WHO Collaborating Center for Pharmacovigilance in Public Health Programs and Regulatory Services, and that is our PVPI, Pharmacovigilance Program of India, which is held in Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, Ghaziabad. So in 2017, the PVPI, that is the IPC in Ghaziabad, India, became the WHO Collaborating Center. Now this PVPI IPC was designated as a specialist center by WHO in Geneva 2017. The PVPI was launched with a broad objective to safeguard the health of 1.27 billion people of India. Now, ADIs are reported from all over the country to NCC PVPI, that is the National Coordinating Center Pharmacovigilance Program of India, which also work in collaboration with the WHO Program for International Drug Monitoring and also contribute to the global ADR database. Now, what is the role of WHO PIDM? Now, there is diverse role of this program. Number one is identification analysis of new adverse drug reactions. Secondly, WHO database is taken as the reference source by all the member countries of WHO PIDM. Then third one is information exchange, where the information is exchanged and discussion is stimulated between the representatives of national centers participating in WHO PIDM via VigiMed. Now what is VigiMed? It's a unique IT drug safety tool. It's a type of email system. Then WHO publishes a lot of publications. Some of them are WHO Pharmaceutical Newsletter and Uppsala Reports. So basically, who takes care of publications? The UMC plays an important role of a communication center. Let's continue with the role. Then this WHO UMC, it supplies tools for the management of clinical information. Development of WHO ART. Now what is WHO ART? Now it's basically it's an adverse reaction terminology. So standardized adverse reaction terminology. So it's a terminology used by regulatory agencies and drug manufacturers and all the national centers. Either they use WHO ART or they can use MEDRA. What is MEDRA? Medical Dictionary for Regulatory Activities. So whenever we are reporting to WHO database, either we use WHO ART terms or we use MEDRA terms. And MEDRA is an Adverse Event Classification Dictionary which is endorsed by ICH. Then what other role of this WHO PIDM program is? That is development of a comprehensive index of reported drugs. And that comprehensive dictionary is called WHO DD. DD stands for Drug Dictionary. So all medicinal products referred in ICSR sent to WHO database, they are coded as per the WHO DD classification by UMC staff. Then we have another thing, WHO Drug Dictionary Browser, which is launched in 2006 and it allows direct access to all the features of the dictionary and it's available over the internet. Then let's see what other rules are. Providing training and consultancy support in pharmacovigilance. Then there are discussions through annual meetings. So meetings are held every year with the representatives of national centers on technical issues in relation to improvement of global drug monitoring in general and as well as concerning individual drug safety problems. The WHO program also conducts methodological research in ADR signal analysis. It focuses on using international drug utilization data as well as a system called Bayesian neural network methodology. It focuses on monitoring of traditional medicines also. Then what else? That is the computer software for case report management. VG-Flow is also made with the help of WHO PITM. It's a validated case management system for pharmacovigilance centers, and UMC has made this software for the centers for management of adverse event reports. Then UMC along with Swiss Medicine has also developed a database. This database is called VG-Base. Now this VG stands for vigilance. So VG-Base is actually a WHO global database of individual case safety reports. Now number of ICSRs in VG-Base in 2014 was 9 million. In 2016 it was above 13 million. So VG-Base, how it is managed? It's managed and maintained by WHO Collaborating Center for International Drug Monitoring known as Uppsala Monitoring Center. In October 2014, as you can see, there were over 10 million reports of adverse reactions in VG-Base. In 2004 itself, WHO ADR database reaches 3 million. So all the data in the VG-Base, they are recorded in a structured and comprehensive way to allow the detection of potential medicinal safety hazards. Now let's understand what are different types of VG portfolio of tools. One is VG-Base, which I have already told you, that's the WHO Global ICSR database. And it includes not only the data on conventional medicines, but also on the traditional medicines, as well as biological medicines, including vaccines. Then we have next VG-Lies. Lies stands for analyze. So it's a powerful search and analysis tools that provides WHO PITM members an access to around 13 million ICSRs in VG-Base submitted by member countries. Then we have VG-Access. Now basically VG-Access means simply giving the access to the public to the VG-Base through a user interface which allows search and retrieval statistical data on safety issues which were reported to WHO PITM. Then VG-Flow, as I've already told you, it's a case management system for management of adverse event reports. Then we have VG-Flow e-reporting. It's a web-based module for VG-Flow which allows national centers to capture ICSRs, individual case safety reports, directly from the patients as well as healthcare professionals. So what are developments in WHO PITM going on? Now, this PITM has recently launched Global Vaccine Safety Initiative. Now, what is this initiative? It's a strategic framework aiming at the establishment of effective vaccine pharmacovigilance system in all the member countries. So basically, it helps in strengthening the vaccine safety monitoring. It helps in strengthening the ability to evaluate vaccine safety signals. It helps in developing vaccine safety communication plans, understand the perception of risk, what risk we can have from the vaccines, and prepare for managing any AEFI, that's adverse event following immunization, and how to manage crisis promptly. It also helps in developing internationally harmonized tools and methods for vaccine pharmacovigilance. It also helps in establishing a legal, regulatory and administrative framework at all levels. It helps in strengthening regional and global technical support platforms for vaccine pharmacovigilance. It can make international expert scientific advice on vaccine safety issues that is available with them. It put in place systems for appropriate interaction between national governments, multilateral agencies as well as manufacturers. So regarding this vaccine initiative, basically as per WHO PITM, it states that they want to improve the quantity of communication, they want to improve the quality, the targeting of communication or the vaccine safety. As you all know, the COVID came, so COVID vaccines have also come. So this particular WHO PITM is monitoring the vaccine safety all over the member countries. So we need to improve the quality and targeting of communication about vaccine safety. We are to increase the acceptance of vaccination through improved awareness of the risks as well as benefits. So thank you all. I hope you have understood what is the role of WHO PITM, what is it, and how it is managing the safety of all the medicines. Thank you all.